For Corning's capabilities, efficiency was a big one this last year. They took a big hit in their net sales. They had a change in some customer demands. They had to use some higher cost machinery, so their sales took a big hit, and their improvements in manufacturing helped recoup that about $68 million worth, which is a big chunk of change for them. Their inventory turnover was a little subpar across the industry. They had an inventory turnover of about 3.7 according to their annual report. Avery Dennison had about a 7.9 inventory turnover leading the pack, so Corning's a little bit behind the ball on that. As far as their employees go, they've got a 96% retention rate, which is almost unheard of in any industry, so they know how to keep their people happy. They received the Best Places to Work for People with Disabilities award. So they're very accommodating to those who need a little extra help, and they want to see them succeed. They also have many employee resource groups for employees of different ethnicities and cultures to help them find their niche. As far as their management information system goes, it's a little bit alarming. They note that they're at high risk of cyber attack, and they admit their inability to detect and fix those problems quickly, which is a little bit surprising for a company of their magnitude. So that might be something that could potentially raise some eyebrows. They don't, as far as advertising goes, they don't broadcast that on their annual report. They didn't throw any figures out there. Unlike PPG, you can see in that image, they have a direct number available, and they break it down a little bit for you, but something that Corning does. They do have a research and development. They report on that well, but to say that includes advertising would be far-fetched. And on that note, their R&D ratio is significantly better. They are up at about 6.8% compared to PPG at about 3.2%. So their willingness to put money into themselves to look down the road is really well, and the numbers speak to that. Overall, their debt-to-equity ratio is good. It helps them look like a more profitable company. It looks better for investors. They've got really good managerial experience up top. They're led by the best in the business. On the bad side, their cash flow, they reported the negative cash flow, which isn't necessarily all bad, but the figures pointing to it were a little bit worrisome. And not necessarily a big weakness, but much of their equipment included precious metals, which they usually depreciate quicker and they cost a lot more to fix. They've got the 96% retention rate I mentioned is astounding. They've got the good R&D spending on research and development, willing to look down the road, but they do lack the advertising and letting their investors know how much they're getting themselves out there and getting into new markets. And then they do lack the management information system, which can be a bit of an eyebrow raiser for some companies looking in at them. You know, having security of their information is really important for a company of that magnitude. But overall, Corning find themselves still, upper end of the chain, keeping up with the competition. They've got a lot of new products coming out, a lot of new innovation that keeps them on the cutting edge.